Good afternoon, everyone. Kelly Stewart here at our Midco SN Sioux Falls studios, and I am talking hoops. It is March 26th already. The madness is in full swing, and now that we've had almost 24 hours to digest what happened last night out in Syracuse in the NCAA Women's Basketball Tournament, let's break it down. First of all, huge congratulations to South Dakota State, making the Sweet 16 for the first time in program history. They've been knocking on the door for years. They busted the door down. They got it done. This is huge for their program, huge for the Summit League, huge for all mid-majors everywhere. This is a special thing, and that team has put in the work to get to where they are. So about last night. Let me start this off by saying this was a great game of basketball between two great teams, and that sounds so generic. You would hopefully have a great game of basketball in the round of 32, but before we get into more specifics, just on the surface of this one, 5 ties, 5 lead changes, SDSU only had 13 turnovers, Syracuse had 11 turnovers, just a solid game. But to go into depth onto why SDSU knocked off the number 12 team in the nation and number 3 seed Syracuse on their home floor, I have broken it down to 3 points. And in each of those 3 points, there are about 1 million sub points. I don't know where I'm going to go with this, but I was really diving into the numbers today, so here we are. But first of all, South Dakota State's defense was an absolute difference maker in this game. And for me, the biggest element of the Jacks defense yesterday was defending the arc. Syracuse is 8th nationally in three-pointers attempted. They take about 27 of them per game. They're also top 10 in the nation in three-pointers made per game. They make about 9 of them. South Dakota State held them to 5 of 21 from deep range. And they also did really well on the Orange's best shooter, Miranda Drummond. She has taken 25% of Syracuse's three-pointers on the year, 25% of the team's total three-point attempts. She's the best perimeter shooter on their team, 38.5%. South Dakota State held her to 1 of 9 from 3. That's huge. In addition to that arc defense, the Jacks kept them off the free throw line. Syracuse gets to the line about 15 times per game. They make about 10. It's nothing crazy, but it's still pretty good. And versus South Dakota State, they were 7 of 9, 5 of 7 in the first half. So they only shot 2 free throws in the second half. They made both of them. Finally, South Dakota State rebounded well. They finished +8 on the boards, and that allowed Syracuse to didn't allow them to get a second shot, which is huge when you think of how good they are at shooting threes and how they can just break teams down. South Dakota State held them to 1 shot on just about every possession. So overall, South Dakota State defended well. Both teams shot 50% in the first half, but the biggest thing for me, the Jacks held Syracuse to 31.4% shooting in the second half. Now, why is that important? SDSU didn't have to take the ball out of the net, so Syracuse couldn't go back and get in their 2-3 zone, which they are known for, and obviously teams have had problems with, which is why they were ranked number 12 in the nation. So let's get to attacking that zone. South Dakota State on offense. Why were they successful? They made the zone move and work, and they shared the ball. Syracuse, just like their men's team, known for their 2-3 zone, and it's aggressive. They have long, quick, athletic players. Head coach Quentin Hilsman has actually consulted and had many conversations with the Syracuse men's coach, Jim Boeheim. Syracuse men, known for their 2-3, and he's talked to him about how to be effective, how to play that zone very well, because the stereotype of the 2-3 is it's the easiest zone to break. Well, not if you're Syracuse. So the Jacks moved the ball well. 21 assists on 27 made field goals. That is very, very good. Syracuse, meanwhile, 12 assists on 26 made field goals. Not as well. And finally, this is my favorite one, senior swagger. Very original graphic that Jason Indira made right there. But Maddie Giebert, Macy Miller, and Sidney Palmer. Macy Miller didn't have her best day shooting, but she had 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and was 5 of 7 from the free throw line. She's a difference maker. Even if she's not putting the ball in the hoop, she had to be out there. And you think you knock off the number 12 team in the nation and your best player has an off day, you're sitting pretty well. Sidney Palmer only played 5 minutes last night, but hit a huge 3. She was 1 of 1 from the field, and her 1 3 that she hit put South Dakota State up 8 towards the end of the third quarter. It was part of their 8-2 run to close out the third quarter. But finally, Maddie Giebert. Check out this stat line. 38 minutes, 6 of 12 shooting, 6 of 10 from downtown, 6 rebounds, 2 steals. But to start that fourth quarter, she had 2 turnovers and a missed three-pointer that helped Hughes to a 10-0 run. Everyone was getting a little nervous to start the fourth, but she made up for it. Back-to-back three-pointers. The first one gave South Dakota State the lead with 3:28 left. Next possession, she knocks it down. They're up 5. Next possession, she gets an offensive rebound. So I would say that, she made up for it. But that's what seniors do at this point in the year. She also made 2 free throws at the end with 4 seconds left to bring the lead to double digits. So seniors stepping up. They don't want their season to end. They don't want their career to end. And we saw that on full display last night out in Syracuse, New York. So final thoughts about this one. It's a 40-minute game, and all 40 minutes don't have to be pretty, but everything in every quarter matters. South Dakota State was down 12 5 minutes before halftime, and they closed on a 12-2 run to make it a 2-point game at half. Then they outscored Syracuse 17-9 in the third. The beginning of the fourth, just talked about it. Syracuse had that 10-0 run. We all got a little bit nervous, but because the Jacks had put in the work earlier and gone on those runs, they could weather that storm, and in the end, players made plays. Finally, congratulations to South Dakota State. Still dancing onto the Sweet 16, taking on the 2nd seed Oregon, a team they already saw in Frost this year, and I will have a preview of that later this week.